everybody, it's Panfish Guy and welcome back to PFG Fishing. We're continuing our spider rigging series discussing rigging options for your rods. For the most part I use Capson Coleman double minnow rigs by B&M. The reason I chose these is because they're widely available retail, even where I live in Illinois. The one thing I will note about these is that they're much cheaper at Walmart. These B&M rigs come in weights from 1/4 ounce to 3/4 of an ounce. I've never used 3/4, but most times I use a 1/2 ounce. Sometimes I use a 3/8, and I'll use a 1/4 ounce, these here, when I'm using jigs instead of minnows. If I'm using live bait, I'm usually using the 1/2 or the 3/8 ounce. The other thing I like about these B&M setups is that the hooks on them are a light wire hook. If you got a decent test line on your rod, you can actually bend these light wire hooks out fairly easily and save yourself a little trouble retying your lines. You can buy similar rigs to this, like a lot of the bait shops around Reelfoot Lake, Grizzly Jig down around Reelfoot Lake. They sell something similar, but it's set up on like a cardboard tube, like you'd see on a coat hanger or something. Those are usually set up with beads and like a spinner blade or two, just to kind of give them a little extra flash. And those things have been around forever. There's other manufacturers that make them. There's Jenko, I know, makes some. I used to use some from a company called Danielson, and they were relatively cheap. The one thing I didn't care for about those was that the upper drop for the top hook would get tangled up pretty easily. And you had to figure out how to weight them yourself. So these are already set up with the weights. You just take them out of the package, tie them on, off you go. And a lot of people tie their own up too. Matt from 3 Pound Fishing, he had a video where he'd go to a ball game and he'd be sitting there tying them up while he's at the ball game. Mo Fisher plays with that a little bit too. He's tied some up after our last trip from last year. I want to get into the specifics of what I use. And what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to show you the different setups I use, and we're going to tie one up with jigs. So I'm going to modify one of these 1/4 ounce rigs. The one thing I do differently on my spider rigs is I use a bobber. And the reason I do that is I feel like it gives me a better visual on the bite. The first trip I ever went on, I went out with Mark Pierce down at Reelfoot Lake, and he used bobbers on all of his setups. You see a lot of the fellas who are guiding down at Reelfoot Lake, they do the very same thing. When you're crappie fishing, especially when you're in shallower water, like say you're at Reelfoot in 5 foot of water, those fish don't necessarily yank that pole straight down, right? So if you're tight lining and say that fish just grabs your bait and starts going sideways, it's hard to pick that up because you're actually watching, at that point you're actually watching the line, not just the tip of the rod, right? And same goes for say a fish comes up, grabs your bait, and swims up, right? If you're tight lining, that line just goes slack, but you're not seeing that pole going up and down. So those are hard to pick up. So with bobber, they do that. You see that bobber going off to the side, right? Or I guess I should turn this the other way. Or you see that bobber just lay up on its side, because that fish came up and picked that up, lifted the weight, and that thing just laid up on its side. So like I said, I think the bobber just gives me a better indication of a bite, and we're going to rig mine up with that. I use a very specific bobber for mine, and here's why. This is a Bass Pro Shops Premium Balsa Slip Float, and this is model 118. The barrel of the bobber is 1 1/8 inch. And the reason I'm very specific about these is that if I'm using a 1/2 ounce weight, and I got that bobber on there, I use anything smaller than this 1 1/8 inch, that bobber doesn't stay on top of the water. Now, any brand of these will do, but these just happen to be available to me
at Bass Pro locally, so I can get them there or order them online. I ordered the last set online. There are other brands you can buy. You know, I know Carlisle makes some that are similar in size. I'm sure Phil and what have you. We're gonna do a jig setup with a 1/4 ounce. So the reason I use a 1/4 ounce, the 1/4 ounce rig with jigs is because I like to put 2 jig heads on my setup and put it with a wire keeper on them so that my plastic will stay on. If I got a 1/2 ounce weight and 2 jig heads under this bobber, it won't stay on top of the water. So I used a 1/4 ounce setup. The 2 jig heads kind of make up the difference in the weight. I got my bobber stopper here. A stopper on there. You see it? Slide that on there like so. I'm ready to tie my rig on here, so I'll just grab this little bugger, and it's got 3-way right there. I just tie the old-fashioned, I don't know what the technical term is for it, fishing knot. Center down. There you go. When that bobber slides down on that thing, it don't stick. And like I say, you put that Palomar knot on there, and it's wider, and that thing wants to stick on there. So, just a little tip for you. The other reason I'm tying these up with jigs is I foresee minnows being hard to come by here in the next few weeks. So, stuff gets back to normal, you know. So, anyway, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to just clip off that hook right there. Save these for later because those are valuable. I really like those light wire hooks like that. Clip these both off. You don't want to use a bunch of line here because you're kind of changing your depth if you do. So we got Mr. David tied on there. Jack 'em jigs, check them out online. Good stuff. I just tie them on regular old fishing knot there.
There she is. You can tip these with minnows if you want, if you can find them. Like I say, I think they're going to be scarce for a little while. But I think these will catch some fish. And if I ever do get out, I will be, this will be one of the first poles in the water. Hope this video helps you out with ideas on your riggings. And again, get these at Walmart. You get them at Bass Pro, you're going to pay more. But you know, they are available. Probably order them online too. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you liked it. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, share the video, and if you get a chance, hit the subscribe button. We got a great contest going on right now too, so check it out. I'm giving away some free stuff. Please subscribe to the channel and comment on that contest video for a chance to win. Thanks. Have a good night. Hey everybody, don't forget to check out our friends at my724outdoors.com on the web and Facebook. And check out my Facebook and Instagram pages. Also coming soon, panfishguy.com. Hey, knock it off.